At what dollar amount does wealth stop buying freedom and start buying a cage? It's 11:47 p.m. on a Wednesday night, and you finally open the spreadsheet. A number appears. It is your net worth. Most people think of this number as a score, like a grade on a report card. But the math doesn't care about your feelings. This number determines whether a $900 car repair is a mild annoyance or a 3 a.m. financial crisis. Why do people at level 4 often feel more trapped than people at level 2? Today we're going to climb the American wealth ladder with Tyler. We'll expose the specific predators hiding at every level. The most dangerous trap is the one you've been trained to call success. We need to address the lie we've been taught about success. A world where a single income could support a family and a house costs 3 times your salary. Because that world is gone, we've replaced substance with signal. Imagine 2 neighbors. One is a surgeon earning $350,000 but carrying $400,000 in debt. The other is a middle school teacher earning $58,000 with a paid-off house and $100,000 invested. The surgeon is performing wealth, the teacher is accumulating it. The gap between looking successful and being secure is the most expensive gap in personal finance. Tyler is 23, he has a degree, $41,000 in student loans, and $314 in his checking account. Welcome to level 1, the negative zone. Instead of leaving you alone, the industry says, let's charge him extra for being broke. In 2024, major banks collected over $1 billion in overdraft fees from people who didn't have $24 for a sandwich. At level 1, your primary job isn't investing, it's survival. You're paying what I call the broke tax. You have $1,000. Do you put it in savings earning 4% or pay off a credit card charging 24%? Mathematically, keeping that debt is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The exit from level 1 isn't a life hack. It's stopping the bleeding before interest outruns you. Tyler is 26. He's paid off the credit card and has $2,800 in savings. He feels like he's finally arrived. This is the most dangerous psychological moment on the ladder. I call it the exhale. Because Tyler escaped the negative, his brain treats $2,800 as permission to upgrade his lifestyle. This is where 37% of American adults live, one $400 emergency away from being wiped out. Most people in this bracket have their net worth locked inside their house. On paper, they have $71,000. In reality, they are house rich and cash poor. Tyler sees $2,800 on his screen and feels safe. But inflation is pickpocketing him every year. His money is sitting in a chair doing nothing while the bank lends it out at 7% to someone else. If Tyler stays here, he'll spend his life as a supplier of capital to his bank rather than an owner. He is a hamster on a wheel, running hard but staying in the same financial universe. Tyler is 38, he's grinding. He just crossed $100,000 in net worth. According to Charlie Munger, the first $100,000 is a bitch. It takes 7.8 years to hit the first $100K, but the fifth $100K takes under 3. Tyler is finally entering the ignition point of wealth. But here is where the cage from our opening question begins to form. Tyler earns $162,000 a year, lives near Trader Joe's, and drives an SUV with a $618 monthly payment. Life is objectively fine, except for one thing, the ratchet. Tyler's lifestyle has expanded to match his income. Every raise was absorbed by a deserved upgrade. He now has a fixed obligation stack, $12,500 a month just to keep the lights on. Tyler can't quit his job, can't take a risk on a startup, can't even get sick without the structure wobbling. He has golden handcuffs. He is performing success while building a debt-fueled cage that requires him to work until 67. Something fundamental shifts at level 4. This is the inversion point. Below this level, Tyler was the engine. At $500,000 invested, the physics flip. If Tyler's portfolio earns 8%, it generates $40,000 a year while he sleeps. His money has become a full-time employee who never takes a sick day and never asks for a raise. But here is the new psychological predator: nominal loss aversion. When Tyler had $30,000, a 10% market drop was $3,000. Annoying, but whatever. Now a 10% drop on his $1 million portfolio is $100,000, more than his entire salary 10 years ago. His stomach drops, his amygdala tries to take the steering wheel. You see $100,000 evaporate from your screen in 3 weeks. The logical investor knows the market recovers. The human version wants to sell everything and hide cash. The people who make it to level 5 aren't smarter. They built an emotional circuit breaker. Tyler is 67, he has $14 million. He has reached the top 1%. At this level, the financial system operates on completely different rules. Tyler doesn't earn income anymore, he manages capital. Buy, he buys appreciating assets and never sells. Borrow, he borrows against those assets at 3% to fund his life. Loan proceeds are not taxable income. Die, he passes assets to heirs with a stepped-up basis that erases decades of capital gains tax. Tyler has legally opted out of the tax system that took 30% of his paycheck at level 1. But even at the top, there is a final devastating trap: communication breakdown. 70% of wealthy families lose their fortune by the second generation. They handed their kids a number without the philosophy behind it. They transferred the wealth, but they failed to transfer the mindset. There is a story of a hedge fund manager in Greenwich worth $87 million. He flies commercial, his kids go to public school, and his total monthly spend is $19,000. When his advisor suggested he could spend more, he responded with 2 words: more what? Those 2 words are the ultimate financial filter. The cage isn't built out of a lack of money. The cage is built out of an endlessly moving goalpost. If you define arrival as a specific net worth, the brain normalizes that number within weeks. This is hedonic adaptation. You thought you'd feel safe at $1M, now $3M is the new safe. You are trading your peak health years to add pressure to a tank that's already in the green zone. Here is the surprising truth: financial freedom is not a net worth. It is a ratio. The person who needs $15,000 a month needs $4 million to be free. The person who needs $3,000 a month only needs $900,000. The cage is not the debt or the taxes. The cage is the baseline. Every dollar you add to your cost of normal costs you $17 of future wealth. And more importantly, it adds another bar to the cage and pushes the finish line further away. The arrival everyone is sprinting toward isn't a house or a car. It's the moment you stop needing the performance. The wealth ladder isn't fixed. People move up it every day by running the numbers instead of the signals. If you want to move to the next level this week, stop looking at the 10% above the waterline. Stop competing in the contest that doesn't pay out and start compounding in the one that does. Calculate your burn rate, define your enough before your income grows. The Honda in the parking lot isn't the loser at the table. It's the only car that gets to leave whenever it wants. The 90% is always below the waterline. That was never a consolation. That is the entire game.